It's time for today's episode of Classical Music 101. I'm 90.9 WGUC's music director, Jessica Lorey. Today's question, what is a clef note? Well, I'm glad you asked. Clef notes is my music blog's namesake, but they get their origin way back in the 11th century. Before we talk about that, let's look at the different clefs. A clef note is a symbol in musical notation that is placed at the beginning of a musical staff that indicates the pitch of one of the lines on the staff. By doing this, it also shows what pitch is located on each line and space surrounding it. There are three main types of clef notes. First, we have the treble clef, also known as the G clef. The right hand of a pianist uses the treble clef, and so do other instruments, including the flute, oboe, violin, trumpet, and horn, all higher-pitched instruments. Then there's the bass clef, or the F clef, used by lower-sounding instruments like the cello, tuba, double bass, euphonium, and trombone. You can also see it used as the pianist's left hand. Less known is the C clef. This clef is used as the alto clef when it appears on the middle line of a staff, indicating middle C. The viola uses the alto clef. When the C clef appears positioned on the fourth line of the staff, we call it the tenor clef. This is sometimes used as the upper range for bassoon, cello, euphonium, double bass, and trombone. Before the first use of clefs in the 11th century, music was transmitted orally. People relied on memory and formulas to pass music along to the next generation. It was sort of like a game of telephone where information was incorrectly transmitted over time and the end result not necessarily matching the original music. During the 9th century, we find the first records of musical notation. No clefs, just symbols called neumes used to show the direction of a melody. Fast forward 200 years and we begin to see a line drawn on parchment to indicate a certain pitch. The neumes were then arranged around that line, using it as a pitch reference point. This idea eventually developed into our clef signs. A monk at the time named Guido of Arezzo arranged lines and spaces around this clef sign and fit the neumes onto it. This eventually developed into what we recognize as the staff. So there you have it, clef notes. What other music questions do you have? Ask me in the comments below or via WGUC's Facebook or Twitter pages, and maybe we'll feature your question next month.